Hello everyone, happy Friday. Looking at our windows and more tower cam, we're finally able to see a little bit of that sunrise this morning, just a tad though. We're being blocked by all these high cloud cover, or all these high clouds that are moving into the 4 states right now, ahead of some showers and storms that are expected to hit. Now, we're already seeing some of this off to our north, impacting some portions of southeast Kansas, also southwest Missouri. But most of us are going to start to see these encompass the 4 states as we get closer to the late morning, early afternoon. We're tracking that here on our Freeman Health First Alert Doppler. But we're in the 50s and 60s this morning. Not too bad of a start. We're mild, but we're also going to see some of these winds pick up. Expected to be close to about 20 to 25 miles an hour here and there, but not as bad as we've been seeing so far for us this week. And we'll see more of this start to push in as we get closer to, I'd say, Sunday, possibly Saturday for us. So we'll see some on and off periods of that flow come in. But interesting enough, wind shear is not the biggest threat for us. It's going to be this instability, especially as we start to see a little bit of that moisture start to filter in with this upper level low pressure system. So a lot of this convective activity is going to form along these lines right here. It's going to become a bit more organized, and as it does, that's when we'll be monitoring the chance to see some stronger to severe storms. Heavier rainfall was also coming in this morning as we're looking at those that we're passing through right now for some of our northern areas, but these systems will become a bit more organized. We'll start to see them track through, and we'll be monitoring, as I said, late afternoon all the way possibly, or more so late morning into the early afternoon, all the way into the early evening for some chances for severe weather. Cloud cover will remain. We'll see multiple rounds though of these showers and storms coming in. You could see some of this will be more so off to our north, but as we get closer to Saturday and Sunday, more so Saturday evening going into Sunday, we'll start to see a lot of this build in from the south. And this right here, this system, as that dry line is forming, we'll see that trough kind of bring in some of that drier, cooler air, but then that boundary is going to bring in more of that moisture to our south. So once the two meet, yeah, that brings in more of that instability. We could see more chances for severe weather. Marginal risk for us today for some of the 4 states, that's 1 out of 5. So all threats are possible, but the main ones we're looking at is going to be hail up to the size of quarters, and then also winds close to 60 miles an hour. Also have some severe risk for us going into Sunday. Now tomorrow we should be in the clear when it comes to severe threats. Still have some flooding risk for tomorrow, but then we're looking at that slight risk the further west we get, and then also that marginal risk once we transition more so closer to, I'd say, our central areas, and then a little bit of our west as well. Again, all threats are possible for us, including flooding. Now when we see so much rain come in and consecutively over the next several days, that could deliver some risk for us. We could see some saturated soils, especially for our areas that are going to be hit consecutively, as I mentioned. So we're tracking more so to our west, so portions of northeast Oklahoma, also southeast Kansas, and then again, that was the last couple of days. So that's going to be Friday all the way to Sunday. We have multiple risks to see some flooding come in with the showers and storms. But our temperatures are going to be above average as we push into the next week. We're going to see some 70s and 80s on the board for us, around 80 degrees Thursday, Tuesday, and Monday, so some uniform temperatures, and then we'll reach the 80s as early as Saturday, which is tomorrow. Highs for today around 67 in Nevada, also 70 in Pittsburgh, and 74 for us in Joplin. So, you know, we're closer to seasonable for today. And then dropping into this evening, lows are going to reach the 50s for us, some near 60s as well. Now let's look at your KSM forecast from Local Weather Authority. Today we're going to see that high ever. Hello everyone, happy Friday. We'll look at our windows and more tower cam. You could see some rain droplets. We've seen some heavier rain already make its way throughout the region, and it's only about, what, 12:15 outside. We're starting to see some more showers and storms kind of scattered throughout the 4 states. Now, some of these have been a little strong, but we have seen no watches or warnings as far as the severe activity go into effect just yet. Now, we're going to be monitoring more showers and storms as we progress throughout today, as we still could see some risk come in going into the latter parts of our afternoon and possibly early evening as well. On our Freeman First Alert Doppler, though, you can see all this activity. Our temperatures are in the 50s and 60s, but we will be picking up today into the 70s for our highs for most of us. Some 80s will start to move in, though, as we track into the next several days, going into early next week as well for us. So that'll keep us a bit above that seasonal average, just a tad, but we are also going to see these winds increase as well. Now, this is good news for us when it comes to what we're seeing out there right now today. The winds have not been too bad or strong, and in order to see severe activity, you need some wind shear. So we're not seeing as much of that right now. Still some instability here and there, but not enough to turn these storms severe. Now, again, that could change as we get to the latter parts of today, and then also pushing into some of our other days this weekend as well. Tomorrow, though, good news for us. No severe risk with these showers and storms, but Sunday we could see some of these threats pick back up and expand through more of the 4 states. So what's bringing in all of this activity? Now, we've been talking about this all week for the most part. It's an upper level low pressure system with this cold front. Now, this cold front that's off to the northeast, this was impacting us earlier this week. It brought us some winds, and now we're starting to see the low pressure continue to bring some of this convective activity to the 4 states. Now, a lot of these showers and storms aren't as organized right now, which is very good. They're kind of more scattered, coming in waves, and we'll be anticipating more of that going throughout today. But if instability increases, possibly a little bit of shear as well, and then these do become a bit more organized, we could see some of these turn severe as early as later this afternoon. And then we're also tracking Sunday and next week as well. We have an active weather pattern expected really over the next week for us across the 4 states. We'll start to see the system on Sunday make its way from the south. We'll be tracking that dry line, separating that moisture and also the colder air, because that could bring some stronger storms to severe on Sunday. You can see all of that coming in right there. But today we are under a 1 out of 5 marginal risk. All threats are possible. Like I said, we're looking at more so later this afternoon into the early evening. We are more so looking at, though, some larger size hail, possibly up to the size of quarters, and then also winds up to 60 miles an hour. Then as we push into Sunday, we're looking at a slight risk, 2 out of 5 off to our west, but then a marginal threat for some of us as well. Still tracking the timing and setup of these showers and storms, but all threats are still looking to be possible for us on Sunday. And that also includes flooding, not only on Sunday for us, but all the way through our weekend. We have multiple chances to see some marginal risk when it comes to that excessive rainfall today, tonight, tomorrow, and of course, going into Sunday for us. So some of these areas that are going to continue to see this risk, looking at more so southeast Kansas and also portions of northeast Oklahoma, are going to be at risk for some of that flooding. We're also seeing off to our north some areas as well. But our highs for today are on 74 in Joplin, 68 in Pittsburgh, and also 78 in Veneta. But pushing into this evening, lows are going to shift. We'll start to see some 50s on the board for us this evening. Now, here's a look at your KSM forecast from local weather authority. Today, we are going to see highs in the 70s, some 60s as well.